I mean, are we are we even functioning? What the fuck? How do I have the internet working for this shit? What? Um. Okay, we're live anyways. What? And it isn't lying. What? This isn't. But I can't. I what? Uh, uh, what the fuck? I didn't expect this shit to work, man. What? What the fuck? Okay, let me get over the initial flabbergasting moment that is to see my internet being capable of letting me stream. Not of anything else, but streaming. I can do that. I I hope I didn't have the whole possibility this whole time. And I never checked that particular area. I hope, but I mean, I kind of also know that it didn't completely work. Today I wasn't really able to open almost anything else at all, and it is only this that I can do. I I think I said it on the Discord. I think the difference lies on the, so to speak, on the fact that this is streaming. Therefore, this is using my upload speed, not my download speed. But also, I don't really know because both of them have been having incredibly horrible spikes. So, anyways, aside from that, we are here. Finally, we're here. The streak wasn't lost, so we are very, very fine in that sense. We are finer than ever, let's say like that. Finer than ever before. Kind of sad to see that I can stream, but I cannot do anything else because I think having the possibility of also consuming a little bit of content is also beautiful. And you know what? I wasn't able to do it, but well, not the one that is live streamed at least. I was able to watch a lot of videos. I was able to. Well, personally, I haven't. I think the correct way to say it is slacking with readings. I haven't been reading anything so far, aside from the Mahabharata, and I don't know where it comes from. I think. Okay, good. I think I have it. The problem itself is presented because somehow I think I am going to overdo it, but at the same time, I am not really pushing myself on so many. Reconnected. Okay, we're back. Yeah, I mean, what the fuck? Hello, can like, yeah, I mean, oh, can like get into the Discord, my man, but I have said it also on the Twitter at the very least. So I have been really having some internet problems, so it was expected. No real worries, you know. I guess I don't really know how it happened that I can stream because I lost like how much 30 seconds of this stream yet still I am capable of streaming, so I don't have a complete idea so what the fuck is happening. But anyways, we are here, and that is the most beautiful thing. Also, welcome. I hope you have a great time zone, and I hope I wouldn't say we will have a great stream. Probably, seeing how internet is acting up, it will probably end up dying some other times. So I don't think we will have the possibility of following any real structure at all. So that's on one side. On the other, anyways, even if that is true, we are also very fine. So at the very least, discussing things and analyzing ideas, you know. But well, I was going on about, I think, or well, a little bit of an explanation as to where it came from. I asked myself, why is it that I haven't been reading so much? And I found it from this side because it was the first thing that came to my mind. That is, I think I have a kind of sense of fear of overdoing it, in the sense of not overdoing it, overworking myself and ending up burned out, basically. Not that it will really happen. I think it is kind of really hard to get there, but yeah, I think it is kind of normal. I have a lot of fear. I don't know where, but I have a lot of fear over getting really, really tired. Mm, I think, in a sense, because the most beautiful thing that we have going on, that is the streaming itself, requires me to be present and requires me to be energetic, as as with almost anything that really takes a lot of mental energy, kind of. Yeah, I will say the same thing that is, for example, to play a high level or in a high degree of chess, of StarCraft, of football, of whatever. You need to be really well put together. So I guess that is one kind of reason. But on the other side, it doesn't really invalidate the reality itself of, I might as well start seeing where it really starts, the, so to speak, the darkness that they carry on me. And one hand, I yet have to find a type of meditation that I really find to be resonating with me. I don't know. That is really something that I can't completely say. Why I struggle so much with things like that. Mm, but I need to find something that works properly because it seems that having that kind of tool really gives, so to speak, the individual a lot of. Holy fuck! What the fuck? He gives the individual a lot of possibilities. What the fuck? I almost died. I don't know. Anyways. um, but as I was saying, I think it is one of the best ways to dispel the darkness of the daily life, I would say. In a sense, because, mm, okay, I think it works properly mostly due to the user taking conscious control over their inner workings. So when that becomes a possibility, and more so, it gives that real satisfaction, and not only satisfaction, what is relief of the pains that mostly plague the mind, so to speak. Okay, meditation in this sense is kind of the stretching that you do with your brain muscles, so to speak. It is literally the same thing, but applied to the brain. So I guess that is why I have an interest on having that working on me, so to speak. Mm, But well, I mean, at the same time, for example, it also happens that it feels weird to really try to find something like that existing. Mostly because in my case, I have a kind of struggle, or at the very least, a tiny amount of struggles in those realms due to me not really. I when I was saying that, I one of the best working ones that I have is one that was taught on, yeah, on a podcast, one that was taught from removing mental fog. And now that I analyze it from that point of view, it might as well serve as a kind of meditation. And that is literally a breathing technique where you, through your nose, you inhale once. And after you feel like you are really full, you stop for a brief moment, not for a second, for a brief moment. You feel like you're really full, and you will realize you have the possibility of inhaling once again. And when you inhale for a second time, after that second time of inhaling through your nose, obviously, you exhale from your mouth. So, Mm. Yeah. I mean, that's why I say we shouldn't try to make this. We shouldn't try to make this anything serious because internet is going to be completely broken. Yeah. Do not worry. Do not worry. We aren't going to really go over any list because even if it isn't that annoying, it carries a little bit of annoyance to know that my internet out of nowhere might die. At the very least, I am not so sure, but we should check the timer because if when it gets to 15 minutes is also once again shuts down, it might as well be a problem that only happens regularly every 5 minutes, regularly somehow. But anyways, as I was saying, mm, let me go back here. Yeah, okay, like this. I think in that particular sense, when you can apply it also not only to renew the mental fog, but also to take into account that it brings, so to speak, a kind of calm to the mind, mostly because, in a sense, mental fog is created, or well, going even a little bit further beyond. Oh yeah, I mean, we can try to find we can try to find where the, so to speak, the culprits are, but no real worries, no real worries. The only thing is that is kind of sad, but at the same time, it is only sad in the moment, you know. We always have the possibility in the future of coming back, but the most important thing that was to not lose the streak itself didn't happen, so we are very fine, came back. Do not worry, my brother. But what? Thanks for your support. But when, as I was trying to say, I think it can be used probably as a method proper or that could even be considered as meditation. But I guess something that I also kind of struggle is the idea of how do I want to meditate or what I am trying to do when I meditate. Because the self actualizing of myself is something that constantly is happening in my mind. I mean, I do not know how to say it, but doesn't everybody always, as long as they are not speaking with other humans, are in their minds thinking, and also as long as you're not using the phone and all of that, as long as you're not doing other things, aren't you in your mind thinking about your problems? What the fuck is people doing? I mean, I think I don't know. I can't really say if I am good or not in that sense, or if I can meditate and create it in an even more high state. The only difference, for example, that I could try to embody in meditation is particularly the acceptance of I might as well don't have the necessity of speaking. Therefore, I could let me try to give an example. It will be a complete mess, but if I let my mind run at the most highest speed that it can reach, I can also probably start to think a lot faster. And because I have that possibility, it also becomes something that I can do in a proper manner, in which I also enjoy not only the act itself of thinking, but also the wholeness of this, because it brings a lot more enjoyment and also gives me, so to speak, a possibility to really see things in a brighter manner. Because in my mind, the thoughts themselves tend to appear in a more faster paced manner, not like this, but rather even more and more faster because the act itself was shutting down every single outside output that I have to realize in a single, so to speak, action, and also bring me also, so to speak, a kind of, yeah, basically that, a kind of, what is it, a kind of enjoyment or a kind of accelerated manner in which I can think. Um, as long as I do it consciously, I can reach those speeds, but it isn't something that I cannot do by simply shutting up, basically. Because the biggest struggle here is not only doing the act of thinking itself, it also comes from the side of knowing that I might as well try to communicate it to others. Because I know that when I do it very fast, and even more when I talk, about the ideas that come from my uh, thought, train of thoughts, basically. I can't really put it in words that almost everybody will comprehend. And even more, the fact itself, well, I think, yeah, in a sense, it is still is a limitation to speak about it. Because, nah, I don't think. I, I kind of think the opposite. Yeah, I think everybody has the possibility. The only, and I don't feel like saying it, but the only thing I would say I do a little bit better is accepting that into my daily life, but I really think people always does that. You might as well not realize that it is happening on you in particular, but I am pretty sure every single human, so to speak, does this kind of action in other ways that they do not realize. At the end of the day, if you do not really think about the things that happen, you aren't, so to speak, to such a degree aware of what is really happening. I mean, it is kind of weird to say it, but basically that on, on what I was saying before, the act itself of trying to carry an idea in a proper manner in which I can also convey that to others ends up being a shackle. And because I get rid of that shackle when I shut up, I can do it faster than any other time. But if I meditate, it doesn't get much faster. It simply gets to the constant point, and so to speak. Is it is it the idea to have that? I don't know. I think I might as okay, okay. I might as well have to try it, or I might need to try it, so to speak, from the side of you know what, you need to meditate and let whatever happens happen. Because yeah, consciously, it isn't that I have a weak mind, so to speak, in which I find myself struggling with negative ideas or struggling with, so to speak, negative moments that end up converting my whole day into negative experiences all over the time that I am awake. So it only comes from a fear that is, yeah, okay, I think that is a kind of a response. It only comes from the fear that others have kind of instilled on me, I would say, in a manner in which you know what, your mind is your biggest enemy and you are your most massive threat because you never know if you really can damage yourself or not. But at the end of the day, it isn't that. And even more, after so much learning, I kind of comprehend that. I should try my best to not attack myself. And even more, what I do not like to use the word, but let's use the simplest term. What I predicate in the sense of you should attack ideas, not individuals, is something that I have been applying to myself constantly, even before this whole streaming career started, so to speak. So I do not find it to be that hard. I mean, I don't know it. I don't really know. I guess the biggest thing that I should do is not to worry so much as to which proper way there is for meditating, but now that I have the conscious, so to speak, notion that I have probably a method which I can utilize for meditating, I might as well try the next time and also integrate this whole other side, so to speak, that is let myself go. Let's see where I end up going. Because, well, yeah, on the other side, there is still that notion that I, the same as with reading, I do not want to retire. But at the same time, if I want to progress to any real realm of something, it is unavoidable to get tired. I mean, I could do it with literally baby steps, but if I can also do it in a more conscious manner in which I end up developing my own tools to a faster pace and to a more concrete manner, not manner, to a more concrete concept which I can utilize later on with more easiness, the time itself that I do not spend, so to speak, seeing what I am doing or not feels even better than anything else. Because I mean, there isn't that much of a real problem on what I try to create and what I try to make a reality. It only comes, so to speak, at a faster pace or at a slower pace. It, and well, yes, I mean, there are some times in which I find tools that I have already created not to be the best and I have to remake them, so to speak. But that is completely abstract idea, nothing that really has anything to do with what we're talking about here. But well, I think that is a kind of response. At the very least, I am satisfied with that. It feels fucking weird to have real useful things in front of one and not realize that we have them. But well, also, before anything else, I was eating a banana and I want to say, when the internet, it probably goes down in some minutes, when the internet goes down, once again, I will take my leave and throw the banana peel in the garbage, and if the internet doesn't come back, we are ending it there. If it keeps existing, I mean, I will probably still have to take a break because I do not want to have a fucking rotten banana peel on my room. I am not that unorganized with my room, so probably on how much? Yeah, on the next 20 minutes or so, if it doesn't goes down, the internet. Oh, it did go down. I didn't see it. I wasn't paying attention to that. Sorry. It did go down. It lagged only 4% of the stream. Nothing. Nothing. But well, aside from that, I think I have been today and the biggest problem that I have, and I think I don't know if it comes from the previous, so to speak, times that I was told this was a part of myself, or if it really is a problem which I carry, and that is I am very lost in time, so to speak. I do not keep a good track of time. I was going to say only to, but in general, this whole time I have been, this whole time as in, I don't know, the last weeks or so, for example, I have been seeing a lot of content and a lot of that, and I wanted to say I have a lot of things that I would like to talk about, but at the same time, I am also processing to not literally repeat what I saw, because I think yes, it is appropriate to take inspiration, but at the same time, it is appropriate to take inspiration, not to literally copy what others say and to spew it out in this case as it was literally said by others. I mean, if we were going for that, I could literally simply put the videos that I watch and keep myself silent and say, oh yeah, this is amazing content. So good. When in reality, I'm literally not doing anything aside from not even reacting, but because at that point it only becomes, oh yeah, content. Let's see what it has to say and stay still and stay silently watching a fucking video for hours. Uh, yeah. I mean, it never feels good. At least from my point of view, I think there is people who, and even more, it is a kind of hard thing to say because in the philosophy department, you have individuals who really like to go over what others said time and time again. So it is hard to say it in that kind of sense, but there is people who really enjoy doing. Let's say like that. There is people who really enjoys doing simply that. So in my case, it isn't something that I completely admire or want. I would rather do it my own way and end up creating something that at the end of the day is messier in one sense, but on the other hand, it also has not more of a personal note. Simply, it is something that I really comprehend because when I am, or at least I feel like that when I am able to put things into words, it means that I also was able to comprehend whatever kind of topic I was talking about. Even if sometimes, for example, if we're talking about animal reproduction, if we're talking about how, yeah, how other individuals might act on their particular lives, even if that doesn't make me or doesn't means that I went through those particular experiences because I never, for example, I never take hard drugs, So if I take about hard drugs, it only means that I comprehend the experience. I will never probably have the possibility of really saying, yeah, I know what this means. Because even more in a sense, I am pretty aware that some of those hard drugs, in particular, because of my own biology, they were literally. So that is why it isn't that I also say it in a sense of, yeah, money, we are going to take drugs on the street. No, no, no. The complete opposite. We only talk about things that I comprehend in probably in a theoretical level. There are some other things that I also comprehend in a more practical manner, yes, but I don't really see it, so to speak, as a completely important thing to say. Yeah, if you haven't lived that experience, you don't have the right to speak about it. I mean, does it really? I mean, does one really needs to live bullying to speak about it? I mean, I do not say it as something bad, rather. Shouldn't it be more positive to show your interest in those kind of topics when you know how it feels without ever going through that pain, and even more by having the possibility of showing a kind of outsider point of view, not only limiting yourself with what you as an individual who went through those experiences know. It is kind of the same as with the Mahabharata, for example, because I am not somebody who is simply, and I am not somebody who is completely unraveled by the Hinduistical beliefs and anything of that. It provides me, and yeah, I mean, I have said it, I haven't said it, I don't know. A lot of times, what I take on the realms of, so to speak, spiritual beliefs, I take them from the point of view of they might as well have been developed for the sake of individuals finding their own path in a simpler manner. It might not really, and I mean, it is hurtful to say, but it might not really come from, so to speak, a divine existence, but at the same time, it isn't that I am completely negating their existence at all. It is only that I need more proofs for them to, or for me to say, yeah, I see them. I know that they are there. No. Sorry, my brother, but I still haven't seen anything completely proof that conceives a completely real proof. Aside from, I don't know, the same as I haven't taken hard drugs, but I have taken some that in some ways made me feel like I don't know, I might as well have been connected with the whole universe at some point or another. So I will not say that I was really. I accept that I was completely out of my fucking mind because of an outsider substance that was affecting my view on reality. I will not say, oh yeah, you know what? I had a talk with God. What? I do not mean it in a derogatory way, but I need more proof than simply, yeah, it comes from that place. But I mean, at the same time, it also serves as a kind of segue into the next part of this. I mean, well, in a sense, it is too far from actuality, but if it is possible, it will happen, as long as it isn't something that I am completely closed off, It will happen in a long, long future, basically. Well, it isn't the main idea, but if it if the opportunity is a given for us, it will happen. Do not worry. You will see out of nowhere. It is too much craziness, but yeah. No more delusions. Sorry, no more delusions. But what I was trying to say is, it also comes from the other side of I might as well try to be as open as anybody can get about it without completely believing every single thing. I mean, if you were to take at face value every single idea and not even question what is it that those ideas try to really convey, because sometimes, I mean, it is kind of the same with a metaphor. A metaphor doesn't mean what only the words themselves mean. The, the inner dialogue and what is carried through the interpretation of those words for the individual is what really brings meaning to the metaphors. Therefore, it doesn't really mean in this case that, anything taken at face value is meaningful, or anything said for the sake of being said will really prove, so to speak, crucial to the ones who are hearing that kind of message. It only comes from you realizing what you're talking about, and it only comes from you having this kind of same sense, a well-developed conscious enough so that whatever is said to you, you can interpret it and integrate it or not, if you don't feel like it, in your own life. Because, yeah, at the end of the day, whenever you have the possibility and whenever you accept that it might as well happen with whatever is said to you, you end up having a more, yeah, an easier time than those who decide to constantly destroy whatever comes to their way and destroy whatever appears in front of you, because you know what, I already have such a perfect and clear vision of my life. At the end of the day, if it needs to be corrected, you can do it in manners in which it doesn't completely mean eliminating those sides of the ideas that are still important. So yeah, I mean, craziness, whole craziness, mind works. But let me let me do this. I can't check the audio, so I have to hope it sounds good, because if if there is something that the internet isn't willing to cooperate with, that is to show me if the audio is good or not. So, anyways, continuing on other things, and moving on to a next idea, I have been interesting, and what the fuck did I say from this? I wanted to talk about it before. That was sorry, what? Why did I got so far from this? Um, I wanted to talk about this particular thing that is, you know, sometimes, or as I was, I know, I remember. It can, because this one in particular is one of the topics that I have seen recently, and that is why I kind of gave that preface. I think I have processed the idea to the degree to which I can properly talk about it without really only repeating what was already said. And that is, I think sometimes, okay, in this particular case, I have the possibility of giving the source itself. The professor Gabor Mate, he seems to be a real professional at that. He doesn't seem to be. He is a real professional at these kind of topics. But what I ended up taking out of that is hello, Wilco, hello, hello. Welcome to today for a beautiful stream. Welcome. Mm, what, what I was trying to say was, there seems to be a real big connection with who we are as kids, but or well, it isn't that I completely try to negate it. It is rather, and I do not really know if that is so true, or at the same sense, at the same time, more correctly to say, if it is true that you yourself can, in a sense, change who you are when you're on video, or when you're older, more correctly. It isn't completely true that who you were as a kid is the only instance in which those, so to speak, past experiences and traumas really end up giving you leeway. Because, well, yeah. It also comes from the reality of, even if you are, so to speak, mm, older, and even if you are in your 40s, in your 50s, in your 60s, in your 70s, no matter in which age group you are, you could still develop more trauma. The only real thing that is to try and fix the problems themselves. But yeah, that was something that I don't completely know, because this kind of intertwines with something that I have been thinking about, and that is how do you really know if you have achieved a trauma? Because in a sense, when you're able to not feel yourself so affected by it, it shows in to a degree that you got rid of the problem. Because the kind of definition that they were using is a real trauma is presented when, after a lot of time, after the traumatic experience itself happens, when something similar happens, the whole same feeling at the very least, even if it isn't only or even if it isn't simply, so to speak, the whole experience, the whole feelings of that particular moment research in yourself and end up giving you, so to speak, a very big emotional discharge, be it anger, be it distress, be it, so to speak, anxiousness, be it whatever. So I, I guess from that sense, it is easy to say you get rid of that. Yeah, I could meet any other. I I could meet any single individual who gets in front of me. I am a professional at kicking cats. I am a professional. No worries. I could even beat you. This is a threat. No, but but well, going back, I mean, it is easy to say that you simply do not feel things about them. But if you cannot make sense of the ideas themselves popping out in your head, so to speak, because that is something that has been happening to me. I do not know if I have properly dealt with some traumas, because from time to time memories reappear on me, so to speak. Mm, I see it as the part of me who tries to keep my life in order in a manner in which I know what happened, feels what happened after and all of that. Because as I said before, or explaining a little bit more, I deal with a lot of the side of the real problem, that is to not have a real measure of time. And because of that, I need to create a map of memories in which I know this one happened first, this one happened after that, and so on and so on. So I think in my case it happens because I need to remember and to put in correct order the parts of my life that happen in the appropriate timeline, so to speak. Because of that, I end up bringing back those memories because, yeah, I don't think I have felt bad about almost any of the real traumas that I had from when I was young, but at the same time, I am not so convinced that it is that easy. Because at the end of the day, I am only 20 years old. Who I can possibly, and without any real help of a professional psychologist, clinician, what is it, psychotherapist, anything of that sort, really say, oh yeah, I am rid of my problems. But I guess it also comes from the side of one of the few reasons as to why this whole song started was because I noticed a lot of years ago I was a fucking mess. So I had to take care of that. And because we were poor, I wasn't able to go down the road of, yeah, I will get as much help as I can from the outside. Therefore, I had to develop these tools myself, and I ended up applying them on my individual level. But I mean, it doesn't. I don't think it really negates the possibility of having gotten rid of the traumas at the very least. If it is like that, I think, yeah, at the very least, those who are not so current end up really being solved. The only, not problem, the only exciting thing is to notice how much sometimes when you do not have the emotional matureness to the level or to the degree to which you can really say these experiences weren't really that bad. After you develop that particular tool, you will need to go back and you will need to show yourself it wasn't this fucking bad. I was only a crybaby sometimes. Some other times it really needs to confront the side of no matter what's happened, I might as well simply pardon whatever kind of event it was. It, I don't really need to be so clingy to the past, but I think it also has that common side of you cannot show to somebody who's blind something. You only can see it yourself because you have your vision. And I mean, I could try to explain it as much as I can, but in this, okay, I think in this analogy it could serve as this. If the person who is blind doesn't even have the capacity of putting in their imagination what I say in a coherent way in which they can also envision what I am saying, it might as well be a lost cause. Or, sorry, what the fuck? No. It might as well be a particular case in which I might need to start from zero, so to speak, in which I will maybe need to go and I might need to start fiercely accepting that this particular individual might as well not even have the correct tools at hand and might need to go to other parts and blah 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 out of that process. But I mean, in general, it is like it is like this. I mean, it isn't that I am not content with all of it. It is, yeah, the same way as before. Sometimes, or well, not the same, kind of similar to before. Sometimes one only needs to realize that the things they are doing are going to be tiring, but the rewards themselves are always better than the whole side of the darkness that one feels in the moment. Because, and even more, I think, with people, when you have the possibility of helping others, and when you give those tools to others, it isn't something that only exists in the present. When you create it to such a degree in which you know they will be able to carry themselves on through life without an already existing tool and with an even more fleshed out concept, if they were able to comprehend it to the degree to which you try to inculcate your ideas, it gives more satisfaction than almost anything else, and not only to me but also to the whole, yeah, to the whole society, because it is the same as what I was saying the other day. I think not only you need it, and not only the other person has that, it also starts being replicated all around, so to speak, the society itself. Because when something is so useful, the desire to share it is really there. When you do not understand how useful it is, you think that it is better to keep it to yourself. But when you really feel the thing that you have in your hands is so incredibly powerful, so incredibly useful, it might happen that in the worst of the cases, you will only share it with those who you are confident enough. Yes, but it only comes from the fear of being rejected or of that particular tool being, so to speak, not accepted by others and not only have taken into account by other people. Yes, but it doesn't still negate the reality itself of that tool being there and that whole side or whole, so to speak, release or easiness created because of that particular thing being something that you can effectively use from that point onwards in your life. It doesn't mean that you do not want to share it. It is only other conditions that limit you from doing that because you will really think that bad things will happen. But I do not think, in a sense, or well, as long as the individual itself hasn't developed a concept of, so to speak, wellness, in which they think the best thing is always to work for their completely own benefit. If the individuals haven't developed something like that out of bitterness, out of bad experiences, and out of that, so to speak, path of life, without being disrespectful, path of life, when people hasn't gone through that kind of things, you can also start saying and showing others that what you have in your hands is a really good. And you can also even more show others that what you're really trying to inculcate in them is meaningful, if at all. But I mean, I don't really, as always, it doesn't also mean that I carry the complete truth. It is only a way in which I put my own ideas into words. And yeah, I don't want to be repetitive about it. It gets fucking boring to say it. I mean, more from my own side, because the possibility of always asking whatever the fuck you want and trying to deflect my own ideas, because it is interesting to see not only from the side of those who have an interest on that, but also from this point of view of seeing in which, so to speak, aspects it was lacking enough so that you felt you had the complete possibility of attacking that. In those senses, it is always beautiful to have that. And well, I mean, the only thing I think is really helpful for any kind of idea that I develop is I tend to carry a lot of, so to speak, already accepted things with me. As in, for example, as I kind of explained before, if I didn't say it, it was, if I didn't say it earlier, it was because I thought it was kind of a consensus, that the individual might as well try to work for not only their own sake, but it is also a reality that some people has had such a bad experience in their own lives that they feel like they need to really try to give others, so to speak, nothing back and only focus on who they are and what they can extract from their life experiences. But if I didn't do it, it might as well have gotten lost in my own mind. Mostly because I know it, therefore I can accept it. But if it is a completely new concept to whoever is hearing this and whoever is trying to integrate this into their own consciousness, you might as well still be lacking some pieces of the puzzle, so to speak. But I mean, I have said it, for example, on one of the first streams that I did. I have a lot of influences, and it won't be easy, but you can go down the route of finding who all of my influences were and completing those pieces of the puzzle yourself. If you feel like doing it, I mean, I also sometimes, I even do not even know what the fuck some parts of my own ideas end up coming from, sorry. Because in a manner in which my mind works, I find it rather hard to really pin down particularities that ended up being part of the things that I say. I have sometimes some consciousness about it, and not consciousness. I have some memories that I can really say, yeah, this come from this particular other thing. But in other occasions, I really am juggling things that I do not even know who throw at me, so to speak. But anyways, give me a second because I want to go on through the banana peel. It is already starting to smell as fuck, so give me a second. Be right back. And well, also something beautiful. It hasn't lagged so far anymore. So I think we are pretty fine, at least on the streaming side, because the fucking download speed is shit. I cannot watch anything. I cannot even watch my own transmission to know if the audio is good or not. So fuck that part of the internet. But at least the upload speed now is working properly. So as I said before, let me go and try to. Um, is the microphone is working? Yeah. Is it lagging or something? I got back to the PC and this thing told me that the last USB dispositive connector hasn't been recognized. So is the microphone working properly? Uh, okay, but literally the same as before. No problem at all with how it was working before. I I don't know why did it say that to me. I okay. Thank you. I think it comes from the from the side of what is it of the I got lost of the mouse, yeah. Because I don't want to talk about it because I don't really think it is that needed, but the mouse has been really not working properly, and it isn't something that has been happening recently. So that's why I do not try to mention that so much because I think it feels like, yeah, please donate. I need a mouse. I do not care about the mouse. I see it like this. I do not even have the necessity of making emotes, something that was the most important thing for the mouse to work, which also didn't happen because at that point already the mouse was fucking dying. So no worries over that. It is only me complaining about life because it is beautiful to complain, and it is easier to I had this idea. I remember. I am back to this. We are so fucking back. Let me increase a little bit the guitar because I am going crazy without any background sounds, or at least I can hear it. So we're going to do this. I can hear it. No, I can't hear it. I can hear it. No, I can't hear it. I can hear it. A little bit. A little. Okay, there it is. I can hear it. So now Proportionally, probably you are going to go completely deaf, but let me increase my own volume a little bit. Properties, no, which is advanced audio. Advanced audio 125, 100, let's say it is at 2%. How the fuck did I expect to hear this shit at 2% of the audio volume? It is literally impossible to hear anything. Let me increase it to 5%, and then increase myself to 175. That is 175 should suffice our necessities. And I think the only problem will be if this spikes, we will probably have some ears bleeding. If this spikes, but it isn't that loud, right? You can still comprehend whatever the fuck I'm saying. Or is the guitar too loud? It says only 5%, so I hope it really is only 5%, supposedly. But anyways, continue. I had this idea before, and I wanted, sometimes I do that, I want to keep them in my mind and not advance over them so much, because I know it is good to progress, but at the same time, if I cannot do it by myself, and so to speak, put it into words here, it might as well be something that somebody in the future might stumble back over here and say, oh wow, yeah, this was something that I have been thinking into. So, for that sake, sometimes I like to keep these things, in particular this one, because I have been hearing the best thing is to be aware about your problems. And I think I even myself said it before, and I am not so sure if it is completely true. I mean, you need to be aware, and you need to be, so to speak, decided to take action about your problems. It doesn't only come from the side of, yeah, you know, you have your problem and you also have the interest of working on the problem itself. It needs to be more complete, and it over anything else needs to really come from a place in which you really desire to solve this. Now the music is too fucking loud for myself. 3% is good, 3% is better. But I was able to hear it at 2%. It was rather that I miss the fucking guitar so much I thought I felt empty. So yeah, but I mean, that is why I also like to say it like this, because you are aware of your problem, but if you do not feel like working on the problem itself, it might as well be nothing at all. I mean, the best thing is to not to be alone, because not only you are aware of your problems, others are also aware of your problem, or not to be alone, to share your things with others, because not only you yourself are aware of your problems, but because you also have others who give you, so to speak, a constant poke, trying to see, in this case, if you have or not solved your problem, if you have or not started working on those things, because it came from something that was said. I don't remember who, but someone said you need to take time out of your day and constantly think about the things that are happening in your life. And I think it isn't only that, you also need to have the intention of progressing in your life. Because I'm pretty sure some kind of depressions are literally that kind of thing, in which you spend so much time out of your own day thinking about the things that are happening that you literally are not progressing on anything else. I mean, it isn't really, so to speak, a cure for anything at all to only think about your problems. You also need to have the desire to progress with your life. And yeah, in this particular sense, as always, it doesn't mean that, oh, yeah, if you are not decided to work on the things that you know you have the responsibility of working on, you are going to die and you are going to burn. No, I only say it from the side of, I have this particular thing in mind and I wanted to analyze it more profoundly, because the idea is you can spend as much time as you want, berating about what is wrong and losing hours and hours of your day simply saying, oh, yeah, this is so sad and this is so horrible and this is so incredibly painful and this is so diminishing to me and blah, 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 blah. Mostly because, yeah, I think it comes from something in particular, and that is I literally have someone in my fucking family who does that all the time, and they are not solving that problems by the way. They, I wouldn't say like this. If you develop the tendency of berating so much and rambling so much about your problems, you are only going to cultivate the tendency to not really work on them. Because this person, who I have for an example, when they berate about their problems and when you try to give them tools to solve their problems, they get fucking angry. So I think yeah, it needs to be more complete than simply saying, yeah, you have this problem and you want to solve it. Not, or well, basically that. It isn't that you only need to be aware of your problems. You need to be aware of the problem. And I mean, the easiest way is also to know what is the problem and to have awareness of what will be that you get out if you do not solve the problem. If instead you keep it in your life, but creating that sense and creating that is a complete other tool because it means and it requires for you to be able to go back or to be able to go, so to speak, and submerge yourself in time to the degree to which you really can extract from your own future thing that is commonly completely uncertain for everyone. Extract from there a certainty that is how much of a worse state your life will be in if you let this problem still be there in the future. So I guess it isn't that easy to cultivate it, but at the same time, it is, yeah, it goes back to what I tend to say. Because it isn't easy, it doesn't mean that you shouldn't do it. It is kind of the same as with almost anything at all. If you develop the intent to work on your things and you develop the comprehension that working on them is always better than not, even more because it is you who lives with you yourself. If you develop those parts of you to the degree to which you can really say, yeah, this is something that I have not to do with anymore, I am happy. If you develop that, you also start to see how important it becomes in this particular sense to take care of those, so to speak, recurring things. Because I don't think almost anybody is really capable of avoiding going over their problems time and time again. It happens, yes, sometimes that we don't like to go over our problems a tiny bit, so to speak, because it is kind of an instant gratification, so to speak. I think this is a way to say when you insult your parents and when you make not not complete fun because when you insult them it doesn't mean that you are so to speak making fun of them, but rather when you get angry at your parents, the whole heat of hormones that you get out of that experience feels a lot of times better than other things. That is why, in that sense, I think it will even be kind of a loop pattern in which if you never really take care of your problems, you will only be someone who is carrying more and more problems and getting more and more angry at your life. And I think it is kind of an underlying notion also that you are not taking care of your problems. Therefore, when the is or when the most cultivated problem of not taking care of the other problems that exist in your life gets to the degree to which you end up exploding your whole idea, in a sense, the whole compressed box that was you with your whole snakes of problems. So no, rattling and shaking that box all the time will end up exploding to the whole society that is around you. And it will not only do harm to you, the one who was containing those problems, but also to those who were around you and might as well have had the capacity of dealing with some particular snakes when you presented to them with the intention of letting them, so to speak, deal with those snakes, not simply for the sake of, so to speak, opening your box to, opening your box of snakes and while pushing them down saying to others, oh yeah, watch how many beautiful snakes I have. I am so surrounded by snakes, this is amazing. My life is a mess, but I am still capable of going forward. Wow, wow. No, it doesn't work like that. You you should really also have the intention of, if you're going to show your problems, you should expect others to give you, so to speak, ways to solve them. Because even even the most proficient human who is the most capable of seducing others, and that is to really tell them about good things, will still end up at some point or another falling on the bad side, or so to speak, on your personal bad side, when they tell you ways in which it will solve your problems, instead of simply saying, oh yeah, wow, you have so many snakes, it's amazing. Because nobody simply wants to impress others, even if the intention is to impress others. Nobody simply wants to do it with the easiest tool, that is to get repetitively, so to speak, Google and say literally the same thing. I think it happens that sometimes repeating one particular idea works, but even more if those who are trying to get to you try to be flattering to you and simply say, yeah, you're good, you're good, you're good, you're good, and be like that for 2 complete fucking hours, you know? It doesn't work like that. It doesn't. I mean, our relationships, our relationships with others aren't embedded in things like that properly said. So yeah, I guess that is a way to say it. But at the same time, it loops back to the whole idea of, if you aren't already somebody who, yeah, if you haven't developed yourself the intention of solving your own problems, it gets kind of hard to be shown that. I mean, one of the easiest ways would be, if you are, in this same kind of example, if you are a box full of snakes and you show to others one of your snakes for the sake of simply showing that, or not one, if you show while pushing down all of your snakes, your semi-full box to others, those who want to help you properly should be aware that they might as well need, even if you might try to close your box as fast as possible, and you might, in a sense, try to close off your whole snake box from the view of the observer as fast as you can. They might need to put their hands in, pull one out, and kill it as fast as they also can before you start fighting back. And not in a sense in which they go with a sword and they, so to speak, stab the snake as hard as they can, while also probably stabbing the box itself and creating only more ripples and only more ways in which that whole box ends up after exploding. Rather, if you, as somebody who's trying to be helpful to others, want to do it properly, even if the individual itself doesn't feel like getting help, you need to see what the snake box is, take one out, as I said before, and kill it in front of the individual. Not inside the box itself, but in front of the individual, so that they can see how they can deal with that. And in a sense, it comes from a sense of replication with others. When you show that you have the capacity and you also give them the message of Not because you are you have the capacity, but rather because anybody is who they are. They have the complete possibility of dealing with their different snakes when you have that, and when you are capable of conveying that particular thing properly. It is that you really give them those tools to even those who are not really willing to have them in their hands, so to speak. Because it, it comes from a side of you need to be forceful to the degree to which you are impactful. Not to the degree to which you are disrespectful, but simply to the degree to which you are impactful on others. Mostly because it is kind of unavoidable to do things like that to others, and it is kind of unavoidable to do it. You only need to be swift with your ways, and I think, in this case, you could even try to say even more if you are simply trying to go for the seduction route. If you create that, and well, this is fucking. Wait. If I develop this more, wouldn't this be bad? Wouldn't this be a bad thing to be talking about? Because you can take it from the sociopathic route and say, oh yeah, I have this. Now I will get closer to somebody because I have this tool. Wow. I mean, I mean, at the end of the day, it depends on the use that somebody gives to that tool. I mean, I could teach you how to create a bomb. It is only in your hands how you are going to use the bomb itself. So I don't think that it still liberates me from. Oh, we're going to go down. Yeah, we're going to go down that route instead of continuing with the idea, just in case. I don't think there is anybody who's a sociopath hearing this right now, but the possibility of this being misinterpreted or this message itself being taken advantage of by somebody who really was carries some potentially incredible danger with it. So I might as well change to the idea of I am really liberated from the responsibility of what I say being simply a tool or not, because I think without really being so concrete with what I was talking before, even if it is true that what I am trying to bring to our, so to speak, reality, I'm trying to put into the correct words, tries to be good manner. I do not try to throw flowers to myself also, but it should be important to notice that if it has the possibility of being misused, you shouldn't give it to others so freely. Because even if you try to preach and say, oh yeah, you shouldn't use it for bad things and you shouldn't try to go and hurt others without have said before and blah 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 blah. It doesn't really complete the message, or it doesn't really get the side of responsibility to anyone. You're only kind of, I think it comes from the side of you're only liberating yourself from the kind of already accepted consequences that it will have. It's kind of the same as if you know that you are giving potentially dangerous individuals the fucking recipe of a bomb, you might as well not do it, my brother. Are you stupid? Why are you giving others recipes for bombs if you know that out of nowhere somebody might say, haha, funny, I am going to create such an incredible bomb that I will destroy a whole building with that. You might as well not even mention how to create it, because it still is bad to say, as I said before, even if you think by simply saying, oh, please remember that you shouldn't use it for bad means, it doesn't avoid the people still using it with bad intentions. And kind of the same thing. I mean, it is as if you were selling a gun to others. You need to accept that some people might really get crazy when they have it in their hands. That's why you really need to be, so to speak, aware that you might as well need to properly check which kind of guns you're going to sell and which kind of guns you are not going to sell. Mostly because sometimes if you really are aware what you are going to sell is potentially dangerous. You might as well sell simply a lock, but you shouldn't sell a fucking what is it? A fucking rocket launcher. For that same purpose, a tank. But well, after 3 months of looking for water, let me see what else do I have in my mind that I wanted to talk about because I haven't had that many, not bright ideas, but that many hold off thoughts. I say that at right, but I still struggle with the real intention of them. I mean, well, yeah, it is the right. It is right, sorry. I had one and I forgot about it for some time, and that was how much or how art really manifests itself. Because I have been having a hard time really comprehending. The human always has that inherent desire to express themselves in artistical ways and blah 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 blah. More than anything else, because is this art? I don't think this is art. This is a form of entertainment at best, but this isn't an artistical thing, I think. You could say that it is artistical if you were to, so to speak, really notice that there are some more parts to this than to what is simply happening, but you could, from a very kind of, or at least myself, I consider that if somebody says, this is an art, you are kind of underappreciating other, more real arts, and this doesn't really carry that much meaning behind of it. This is more kind of a lecture, I would say. This is more kind of an educational content. Or at the very best, it doubles between artistical and educational content. Because yes, there are some parts that I would like to improve and that we are trying to improve that are from the artistical side. But it is also true that I have a lot of things which I have an intention on improving and which I have been trying my best to get going that are from the realm of, so to speak, this. Wait, is education an art? Holy fuck, is education a kind of art? Is education something that you could make in an artistical way? Because yeah, I mean, I have seen art that was educational. I have heard art that carries meanings behind it. But then, what isn't artistical? That is the real question. That is an easier question, I would say. What isn't artistical? Something that is produced by a machine, but at the same time, even what is produced by a machine came to fruition because we have a desire to make it with that kind of form. And even, for example, the most alienated forms of between quotes and quotes non-art are artificial intelligences, but they still, even if they do not require an input, think that so far isn't so easy to find. Even if they do not require an input, the, so to speak, the parts that they got and the particular ideas for which they were made have an artistical side of them. You cannot I mean, unless you really created an artificial intelligence only for the sake of helping you with research, for example, but it is still, I don't know, it's an art simply whatever you can consider it. Because I was going to say, you might as well use those kind of artificial intelligences only on more depth studies and more profound, so to speak, analysis of things. But when you're doing it on not maybe 10 years, but a lot of times, at least I myself find it beautiful to see how some papers are put into words and how some ideas are put into a coherent way in which other people can comprehend whatever it is you are talking about. Because personally, when I read some really brilliant papers, I find it to be more of an artistic thing than to simply be a creation came into fruition simply for the sake of being there, so to speak. I think whatever is beautiful might as well be inherently as artistical, because a part of the art lies on the act itself of being perceived as beautiful, good, or whatever it is. So I guess that, but at the same time, that feels kind of too much of a heavy tag to carry and to convert or to boil down art to, because at the end of the day, you are kind of saying, well, anything is artistic, and if everything is artistic, then no, I don't think it diminishes the value of those things that are purely entertainment, artistically speaking. As for example, a paint that really tries to imitate a real thing. So, for example, which you can say, yeah, this is beautiful because, because I mean, you also need to take into consideration what the artist itself tries to say, even more with those kind of arts that are really, so to speak, realistic with their ways to portray things. Even more, not only on photos, but also on, what is it, paintings and pictures and drawings and all of that. When they are truly something close to reality itself, the message that the artist was also trying to go for really conveys also a lot of the meaning, because you can completely, so to speak, negate that the individuals also give a lot of meaning, and if you didn't have that context also, you wouldn't be completely able to comprehend it. So I guess it gets weird, but also, hello Rosman. We have been rambling for an hour and a half so far, and literally with no context at all, only because I wanted to think a little bit, and because I personally haven't done it myself so far today. I mean, I have been studying, I think, how much? 1 or 2 hours properly? No, 3? How much? I don't keep track of them. I think I do it for some hours, let's say. For some hours I have been studying, and after that I wanted to do a little bit of streaming, more than anything else to test if internet was going to properly work, or if I have to announce later on that this whole week was going to be a guerrilla week, because when I have the possibility of streaming, I was going to do it, and if it wasn't going to work properly, I might as well not even try to put it into a schedule, because it comes from my personal point of view, but it really felt demoralizing to see that the whole 2 years of the way was destroyed because internet wasn't willing to work as it should have been working. So yeah, I guess it isn't really demoralizing. It is only the way I see it. And yeah, I mean, the beauty of having the possibility also of going on whenever I want is even more of a great thing. I kind of can't avoid to say that if it becomes so inconsistent, it is kind of hard to expect any consistency, not from my side, because I will anyways try to go for at least one daily stream, but it ends up being, as before, inconsistent for others to expect them to be able to see whatever it is that I am creating here. Mostly because when you have certain things in your life, you like to, to be attached to them as much as you can. And if I can't even create and schedule, it not only is hard for me, but it is hard for others. Pardon. Do you want a respuesta en inglés o en Spanish? What do you want, my bro? ¿Qué es lo que tú quieres? ¿Una respuesta en inglés o una respuesta en español, mi pana? Eh, okay. Then would ask how is my Sunday going, potato friend, and basically the response is so far everything fine. I mean, I was what I said before, basically. I I did a lot of not a lot, no. Sorry, I did some studying earlier because I didn't have the possibility of streaming due to my internet not working properly, and I wanted more than anything else. I really tried to test if I had the possibility. So I am very. After seeing that this is working, I can finish my whole day very positive. I had some very down moments at first because it is hard to accept that it ended up being outside of my realm of control to stream or to not stream, or to speak today. In both occasions that I didn't have the possibility, and also when I wake up, I had a hard time because as beautiful as it is, consciousness sometimes like to be a fucking bitch, and it happened to be one of those days. Mm, or well, it happened to be one of those nights. The last night in particular, because I woke up with almost a fucking cold sweat out due to having a nightmare. So I had to deal with some things. But anyways, right now we're very fun, and I have been rambling for an hour and a half. We went, sorry, over. I think it was okay. It was the responsibility or not that lies in the hand of the people who talk about things. Before that, we also talk about a little bit of ways in which you will show others real help even if they themselves do not want to do it. And no more to say that. Ways in which, before that, people might as well try to show their problems to others without really expecting any help. That's why when they are delving into the ways or trying to get into the fruition, ways in which even if those people don't really want it, you could do it, so to speak. So it after before that, what else was it? What is you have a really bandaged face, but you were still a potato? I mean, it would be beautiful, you know. A potato is a potato anyway, so no matter the face, the potato has yet still to be consumed, or at the very least to die, because as with every single life form, you need to. No, not that you will inevitably leave this world at some point or another. So sadness is there, but beautifulness is only momentary. What really matters is what the potato does, not if it is beautiful or not, but really what it gets done. Well, I was trying to extend my response as much as I could because I was trying to see what was it that we were talking for, and I kind of can't remember. So, yeah, well, I think we went over kind of coincidentally a little bit about my memory, things that I really struggled with before going into the idea of showing others problems and all of that. And before that, let me see what did we talk about. I don't remember, but I want to spend that much time. I think I have been already like 3 minutes trying to remember. So I can't remember completely what we talked on these 1.5 what 1.5 hours. But well, yeah, I mean, something that I really wanted to ponder was: is it of any use to try and plan things so far in the future? Because I mean, there is a difference between having a desire and striving for that desire and for that objective that exists in the future, and creating schedules so far into the future. Because I saw a possibility of trying to get, so to speak, in a what is it? Somebody in one of the yeah, into the more specific, somebody into one of the main servers that I am in said that I'm creating a podcast and I am inviting whoever wants to get there. And he has gotten so many responses that if you really want to hear, you need to wait now. What is it? The month that is the fourth month of the year. After fucking March, you need to wait to get there. So you really, I will, I wouldn't really plan so far into the future, or more specifically, to write down anything so far into the future. I think I should, in that kind of sense, anybody, as long as you see yourself still existing, things that I completely do, I will try to get there and to be, so to speak, yeah, to pin down more than anything else the possibility because in the case in which this particular option won't or happen to disappear so far in time in a manner in which I couldn't even get there, it would be kind of sad to see that I missed that. Yeah, I guess valuing that. Ah, yeah, can we also talk a little bit about this in particular? And that was to how much of a really good or not tool that is to develop the tool itself of appreciating time and appreciating the value of not doing the things. Because it is easy to say, yeah, you will have a bad time if you don't really focus on the things that you have to do and the things that you do not have to do. But it isn't really that easy to create it, even more if you can't even portray yourself so far ahead in the future. And even if you can't really comprehend what are the consequences of not taking action or all of that. But that was one of the main topics also of tonight. But going a little bit further into what I was saying right now, I think not only that, in general, trying to get as many possibilities as possible. Also, in the same sense as we talk with what was it with the video of creating the future that you want, it has to deal more with if you really want to put effort, the best way to do it is not only to put it yourself, because when we give also others the possibilities of, so to speak, being helpful to your cause, and not in a manner in which you take advantage of people, but rather in a manner in which you accept the help of those who are willing to give it to you. In that sense, it is really beautiful to see, and it is really amazing to have that existing, because I think it should come, I do not know. In my case, I think it should come from the realization of when you do it for others, it also feels amazing because you know that you are making their time and their objectives come into fruition in a faster pace than what they are going to get or they are going to achieve if they were to work they themselves single-handedly. So yeah, I guess taking that, so to speak, that very personal point of view and that very egoistic and in some sense manner to refer to your efforts and the efforts of others, in that same sense, that is a reason as to why I should try it basically. But yeah, I guess I will see. We will see. It basically it still that one in particular it feels so fucking far into the future that even if I have the intention of being alive, I don't never know if, for example, out of nowhere, a completely random event in which the whole world gets destroyed might happen or not. I basically something like that, but that is basically being nihilistic more than anything else. So moving on, let me see if I can find anything that I really feel like talking about without recurring to my book of topics because I have been having a hard time. Well, yeah, I mean, that is more than anything else a story, not a real idea. And that is, I have been working on the book, and I have been working on the second page, and I noticed that if I have the possibility, I should try to create, so to speak, whole pages centered about topics so that in the future we can, let's say, create whole arcs centered on those ideas and on those more particularly, so to speak, what was it? Yeah, those particular central topics because, for example, I think it is better always to try and address particular realities than to be so wide about everything. Not because people isn't wide in their lives, but rather in a more, yeah, in a more content creator way. When you have the possibility of catering only one kind of audience, it also feels kind of nice, and it feels better to know that that kind of people will be a recurring more than anything else, because you have also that kind of security, but at the same time, not being, yeah, at the same time, not being so centered on the idea of, I should have a specific audience, and I should have as much of them as I can being really here, and I should center my whole whatever it is to simply appeal to one type of people is also not helpful because in general it is the same as with trying to have a very easy life. Easy life, you want to mean that your life itself will be easy. You don't mean that you're taking the easy or quote unquote easy life because you might as well not even realize how bad it is to never really do it as hard as you can. And instead, yeah, I guess that is kind of a way to say it, a kind of a way to deflect this particular idea, but at the same time, I think it should be good, even if it isn't from that side, because, for example, let me once again, I have it here to let me open this. At this point, I stopped at I stopped here. I stopped at the 19th paragraph. It is a paragraph. Line, 19th line. And so far I have just counting from the 8th to the 19th, basically 11 lines. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's say 8. Let's make the other words 7. Or let me count another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, let's make it just in case 7. Just in case. 7 by 8. Or no, not by 8. 7. Oh, well, yeah, 7 by 8. No, it isn't 8. 7 by 11. How much is 7 by 11? 77 ideas. And 77 ideas will take me approximately, even if I were to do it non-stop, it will still be 4 ideas for videos, so around 15 streams or so. It isn't that short of a time. If I were to really push for that thing that I want to do, at the very best I could do it on every single day, so it would be like how much? Almost, yeah, basically half a month, basically. So it is very far in the future that I am talking about anything really centered on particular ideas. But yeah, we have to define myself a little bit more of that later on. So far, I am still writing random things that come to my mind. The only thing that I also, I don't know if it really comes from the act of being there in the moment, writing so much, or if it is more like not really noticing that everything is so interconnected in general. Because when I pick at random, I find the topics to be really too much connected sometimes, and it feels kind of sad to see that if somebody were at random to choose on the votes themselves to join and or to start hearing about an idea in particular, they will not have the possibility that happen because I think it might tend to happen that I will not prefer to specify some things once again because I already talked about them on previous topics and I really hate to lose time on those things. So yeah, but I don't know. Now the only thing I know is that I want to go to the bathroom. So give me a fucking second, because I have been calling myself back. How much? Like 10 minutes. So let me go to the bathroom. Let me take a night of like somebody. And we're back. Elima. There it is. What the fuck? Here. Oh man, it was a beautiful time, but I shall continue with what I was. Oh, well, in reality, I wasn't talking about anything particular. I have been. Well, yeah, I I have been struggling a lot. What I have been trying to go for and what's not. Mostly because I think it. Yeah, I like to have fresh things in my head and even more here. And well, I am impressed that I was able to go for an hour, almost an hour and 45 minutes. But now I really need also to force myself to pull any new idea at hand. Mm. Well, I mean, okay. I have something that really has been making me uncomfortable because it needs, or it has to deal with sort of me accepting kind of a problem, and it is, if it isn't being too much austerity, I think it is the term, let me see, of an austerous person. I don't think that is the way to construct that. Let me see. Austerous. Is it austerous? I don't think it is austerous. No, that is on Spanish. For the Riot. What the fuck? What? Oh yeah, no. It isn't austerity. No, okay. It isn't austerity. It's more like being a fucking cheap guy. Because in one sense, I already have at hand some little bit of, so to speak, money to spend. For example, on a new mouse, thing that I have been holding on. Well, I mean, yeah, in particular, it also comes, if I start analyzing that, it comes from the reality of I also don't want to buy a new mouse because I am already hurt by what has been happening to me in the past, and it is completely annoying to think that if I were to buy a new mouse, it will also end up breaking without me doing anything at all because the quality of the mouses that are here is completely horrible. in general, and it feels as painful as it gets sometimes, because you really are spending a lot of money on something that is not even made with the intention of lasting for more than 1 or 2 months, and you don't even know that as the consumer. So that in one hand, and for example, the same kind of thing I have been thinking about the new microphone possibility, but I mean, it doesn't really feel like I need to worry about it that much. For example, it is on the other hand as the same thing that I was thinking before. Should I really even try, for example, to go for a new PC so far? So far, I think I have the possibility of playing almost anything that should be considered material or other, what is it, for, so to speak, um, friend games, not only for myself, because as I have said on past occasions, I personally stopped completely playing games if it isn't with other people, and even if it were, or if it were for me, I would even feel happier if I didn't have to do it, because I notice more and more how people has a hard time really doing or engaging in a real conversation. So when you add the, so to speak, the side of a playing a video, it gets even harder for anybody to really focus on the conversation itself instead of what is happening. More so if it is, so to speak, a competitive, holy fucking god, competitive game. There it is, competitive game, because the people cannot really hold themselves back from, oh yeah, because this is so competitive, I need to do my best and I need to be as aware as I can about what is happening, blah 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 blah. So in that sense, I guess I, it isn't that I guess I know I shouldn't worry about it too much. There isn't any real need from my side of getting a new PC and all of that. What I really should do, something that I still haven't done, is take this one to technician and this PC in particular to get it clean and all of that. I don't. Also, I fear a lot to also try and get it optimized, because if they were to fucking break this PC, it is the only thing with which I could work right now. I could try to set up my whole phone if it ends up being admin, but it is really, really, really the last option. And I wouldn't even try to take my PC to technician and say to them, yeah, optimize this, just to get it broken and to end up kind of forcing this whole tournament into the phone of that. Mostly because a phone itself has a lot of problems. So yeah, I wouldn't try it like that. But I mean, yeah, we will see what is going to happen in the future. So far, I'm not even clear about sometimes what is the next things that I want to do the next day, or what is the next content that I want to consume in the realms of learning anything. So I guess we will see, we will see. So far, at the very least, I am happy that I was able to define myself on this past week schedule, and that I was really able to follow it kind of rigorously, aside from the times in which I don't know, really can try to do things, so to speak, not properly, but I can't really avoid the health problems. So it is bad, yes, that I have some problems, but I cannot avoid them existing. So literally, but well, aside from that, I guess I don't. Yeah, I guess I will try to create a whole week schedule. The thing that haunts me the most is I need to take care of a lot of stuff, or even more during the weekends. During the weekends, what? During the weekdays. So that is why I feel that to really try and say, yeah, at this hour, I would really like to say Oh, holy fuck, I already forgot that I needed to revamp the whole pin on Twitter also. But well, I guess all of that is things that I should write down somewhere. Okay, I might as well right now. Is right now a good moment? Okay, I don't know. But anyways, I don't really have an idea as to where to keep grabbing this particular stream. So if we have no questions, I might as well end it so far today because I think going on will only be detrimental. I am not that tired, but it was already long enough so that the water is kind of a beast that needs to be faced with 2 hours of their time for those who do not consume this content at double pace speed. Even more because I think people would fear the possibility of me doing another kind of oh yeah, let me show you how fast I can talk when I put my attention into the part. So I guess we'll close this so far. Yeah, I fact I need to see if I can write someone. And my internet is not even working properly, so this is kind of bad, you know. This is going to be a painful experience for me, but let me see. I think I have a button here. It isn't. Yeah, Richard. Show me who are. I think yeah, this is very biased because it only shows you the people who has the most viewers. So this isn't what I need. This isn't what I need. Because even more. Wait, who? Yeah, this is. I will need to go to Twitch main page. But anyways, meanwhile, as always, it was a beautiful stream. It was a beautiful editing. I did a lot of rambling, more than what I ever expected, but at the same time, I wanted to go almost for this duration. So I am very happy to see that it ended up being a reality. I hope also I don't go. I hope I well, I mean, if I were to have the possibility of buying a field, I would do it, but not now. This isn't something that is going to happen right now. So yeah. Let me get out of this beautiful place with a right under this Coco. Coco is on what? Coco is on. Let me see. Coco Milligan, basically. The one who are going to write tonight. Is I'm going to stream. I think I cannot check because my internet isn't working properly. Oh yeah, I can. Okay, it is in the middle of a game, so even if she is close to it isn't going to be my problem. Let me wait. Yeah. Let me she says something about it. So let me write as fast as I can. As always, people, thanks for being here. Thanks for everything. It was a beautiful day to talk. It was more than anything else a beautiful occasion, and I hope you were able to get anything out of what we talked about in this particular occasion. If you didn't have the possibility of watching the whole VOD, if you came to this particular part of the VOD to see what I am saying, please go back. I think there should be something important. And if you don't feel like that, at the very least, take care of yourself. Take care of who you are. Always care not only of you, also of those who are around you. This was a beautiful occasion. We shall find each other again in the future. And I fucking forgot about the red message. I am amazing. But that's it for today. Well, get me out of here. Get me out. Ciao.